A very good morning to all the students. This is Veena teacher. Children, in the previous module, we completed the chapter Principles of Inheritance and Variation. And last week, you might have received one assignment sheet which has questions from the previous chapter. So, children, all of you please make note of the questions. And secondly, I have given you the sample answers also that are expected. And these answers are the ones for the questions which appeared in the earlier board question paper. So all of you please make a note of that. And in the next module, I'll be talking about the project also. So all of you see that you're having the assignment sheets with you, and later I will discuss with you in those lines. And children, you have any doubts and queries, you can just text me in the class WhatsApp group so that I can address your doubts and queries. Now from today's class onwards, we're going to start with a new topic, molecular basis of inheritance. Children, this particular topic starts with packaging of the DNA. That is the DNA that is present inside the nucleus in the case of eukaryotic cells. How exactly is this DNA packed inside the nucleus? Now here, this particular diagram, here we are starting with the double helical structure of the DNA, and these indicate your nitrogenous bases here, and this is entire the structure of the DNA. So this structure of the DNA, the thread-like structure, it is wound around a histone protein, and this particular structure of the DNA and the histone protein together is called nucleosome. And these several nucleosomes are present, and these several nucleosomes which get packed, and ultimately you can see that this structure forms the chromosome. So when you see the structure of chromosome and when you take out the thread-like structures of the DNA, ultimately these nucleosomes are seen, and then ultimately you will go to the structure of the DNA, and here your genes are present, and here your nitrogenous bases are present. So this is how the DNA is present inside the nucleus of the cells. Okay, now here the number of base pairs in Escherichia coli. E. coli is a very small bacterium. The number of base pairs in Escherichia coli is 4.6 into 10 raised to 6. That is approximately 4.6 million base pairs are present in E. coli. And similarly, the number of base pairs in human beings is 6.6 into 10 raised to 9. That is, in the human beings, we are having 66 million base pairs are present. That is, nitrogenous bases are present. And distance between two base pairs in the DNA is 3.4 nanometers, or 3.4 into 10 raised to minus 9 meters. Children, if you remember this, we studied in the standard 11 also, when we studied about the structure of the DNA. The length of DNA of any organism is total number of base pairs. That is, for example, E. coli, this particular number of base pairs multiplied by the distance will give you the length of the DNA. So when it is calculated with this particular kind of a formula, then E. coli, the length of DNA is 1.33 millimeters, and in the human beings, the length of the DNA is 2.2 meters. So you can imagine how this 2.2 meters of the DNA is coiled and supercoiled and is present in the chromosomes, which is present in the nucleus of each and every cell of the human being. Okay. Now children, this is a very important segment. All of you please pay attention here. Now, how the DNA is wrapped around the proteins, that proteins are known as histone proteins. How the packaging of DNA in eukaryotes is taking place, that's what we're going to see here. Now, the histones are the basic proteins that have high percentage of basic amino acids. So, there are 5 different types of histones: H1, H2A, H2B, H3 and H4. 4 of them, that is H2A, H2B, H3 and H4, these exist in pairs. That's why you call this as octamers. So here 1, 2, 3, 4. The last four ones exist as pairs, that's why you call them as octamer. So these, you can see that these are present, histone proteins are present, and around that histone protein your DNA is present. Now the segment of the DNA with 146 nucleotides forms 1.8 turns around the histone octamer. The complex of histones and DNA thus formed is called nucleosome. So this entire structure is called nucleosome. Two nucleosomes are connected with each other with a DNA segment, this particular DNA which is linking two consecutive octamers or nucleosomes is called linker DNA. So this is how the structure of nucleosome is present. Children, this is very important. This has come in the question paper couple of years ago to explain the structure of nucleosome. When that particular question is asked, you have to write about the histone proteins, you have to write about the DNA, you have to write about the linker DNA. You can represent the same thing in the form of diagram also. So this diagram, please remember, very important diagram. Now let us quickly look into the various properties that are present in the DNA. So children, if you remember, we have completed the structure of DNA in standard 11 biology portion. Now we are looking into various properties of the DNA. The first property is ability to replicate. The double helical structure of DNA shows that each of its strands can easily construct its complementary structure because of complementary base pairing. This enables DNA to replicate faithfully. How this happens, we will see in the modules next. Next is the chemical stability. Here the DNA is extremely stable. So the genes or the DNA does not change in the lifespan of the organism. So in that regard, the DNA is very stable structure. So there is long term preservation of the coded information that is present inside the DNA. Next is mutability. So in the earlier modules we have seen something about the mutations. So the mutations can occur on the genes, and if mutations happen, then there are going to be certain kind of changes that are shown by the gene. So it is prone to mutations, and mutations can happen to the genes. Next is heritability. So the genetic material acts as a repository for all hereditary information, and this information is passed on from one generation to the next generation. So these are the four essential properties of the genes, or you can say DNA. Now children, we are going to start with the experiments which prove that the DNA is a genetic material. So there are a few set of experiments in your syllabus. We are going to start with the first experiment. This experiment is also known as Griffith's transforming experiment or Griffith's transformation experiment. Now here, Frederick Griffith, a bacteriologist of England in 1928, found that pneumonia causing bacteria, Streptococcus pneumoniae, it occurs in two strains. One strain is known as S strain. Here you can see it is represented, and another strain of this particular bacterium is called R strain. Now S stands for smooth and R stands for rough. The S strain is a virulent strain, means it can cause disease in the organisms, whereas R strain is called the rough strain, which is rather harmless variety, so it does not cause any disease in the organisms. Now here, what Griffith has done is he has taken the X strain and he inoculated the S strain in the mice, and this mice, after few days, it died of the disease pneumonia. Secondly, he has taken R strain of the same bacterium and inoculated in the mice, and this mice survived. Nothing happened to this. So this is an avirulent strain. Now in the third experiment, he has taken heat killed S strain, means this strain which he has heated. So that's why you call this as heat killed S strain. So heat killed S strain is inoculated in the mice, and this mice survived. Nothing happened to this because it is killed by heat. The S strain is killed by heat. In the fourth experiment, what he did was he has taken heat killed S strain and he has mixed this one with non-virulent R strain, and then he inoculated both the samples together in the mice, and subsequently the mice died. And the blood sample of the mice contained the S strain. So by this experiment, what Griffith concluded was the heat kill S strain have introduced some transforming principle that has caused transformation of R strain into S strain. This is known as bacterial transformation. So at this point of time, he did not say anything about the DNA. He did not say that the DNA is a genetic material or DNA is the transforming principle. Nothing he said about DNA, but he just concluded that there is certain kinds of transformation that is taking place, which is converting the here non-virulent R strain into S strain. So this is the Griffith's transformation experiment. This is a very important experiment. You can explain the experiment like this with the help of diagram, and you can just write a statement that the mice is dead, mice is living, etc. And the conclusion of the Griffith's experiment is very important. Let us just quickly summarize what we have seen in today's module. In today's module, we have seen the packaging of DNA, nucleosome, properties of DNA, as well as we have seen the Griffith's transformation experiment. Children, in the next class, I am going to discuss something about your practical projects. So please listen to the information in the next module. By then, I want all of you to look into the assignment sheets and be ready. Thank you all, children. Stay safe and stay at home. Please do not go out. Thank you all.